What's up, everybody? Axel Guzman, 1017 here on the 3 Count Pod. I'd like to appreciate Red Dog for having me on. I can't wait to get this interview started. Let's have some fun with this.
I'm in fashion,
Welcome everybody to another great edition of the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Into the Ring, and I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, that man that leads you up that mountain called wrestling. And by our 300 and something episode, season 4, I would just think that you would just be like your tribal chief and acknowledge me. Because like every good Sherpa, you got to have someone who's been there, done that, and can do it more efficiently than you can. And that's why it's never about me. It's about who's entering. So who's entering the ring today? You can find this man on TikTok. You can find this man on YouTube. You can find this man on IG. He is more over than probably some of your favorite wrestlers. He is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Axel Guzman.
What's up, everybody? Again, Red Dog, appreciate you having me on, man.
Hell yeah, man. I'm definitely hyped about this because, we're on your podcast. We were talking, chopping it up, right? And then I was like, yo, man, let's bring you over on this one because, like, the one thing I've noticed is, like, between you and, like, Narcolepsy Boy and that wrestling lady and, Wrestling Panda, like, you guys are content creators, but you're, like, over with, like, your fans because you guys have, like, this genuine connection. So I was like, yo, let me bring on some of these guys and gals who are really super over with their fans, and let's see if I can help, like, some of these wrestlers who are trying to make their way into the business, help them kind of get over as well.
Okay. Well, anything you need to ask, anything you want to know, I'm here. And I'm here to help everybody out.
Bet, man. So my first question, though, really just going to come off easy, right, man? What got you into wrestling?
I mean, my family. My grandfather and uncle, they would watch it in the living room, normal. I wouldn't really pay attention to it. But the thing that drew me in, and I will always remember, I was in the living room. Surprisingly, my grandfather and uncle weren't there. I was just watching Raw. I think they went to go do something. But all I remember is Triple H returning from the quad injury in 2002. And since then, everything in my mind, I'm like, what makes him so special? Why are these people cheering? What is this? Why am I so attracted to this? All these lights, all this thing. What is that spitting thing that he does? It's so amazing. What is this? And I've been sold ever since.
I remember when he came back from those thigh injury, like the quad injuries, and like people were just like not sure, like, and it was something because like even he said it too, like in an interview, he was like, I wasn't sure how the fans were going to react to me, like coming back and stuff. But like when he came back and he had all the lights going off and he just looked so cool with like all like the rainbow colors.
The denim jacket, the denim jeans. Oh man!
And he was just like stacked too. He was just like walking around like he had like no neck.
More buff and everything. Just like, oh my goodness.
I remember too, and I was like, bro, like, what happened to Hunter? Because when Hunter, like in the 90s, Hunter, when you look at Hunter from like the 90s, he wasn't like a very big dude. Like he's obviously a big guy, but like when he came back in 2002, he was just massive.
He was massive. And and that was another thing. It was just a massive dude. And then the one thing that really caught my attention is the introduction coming from Greenwich, Connecticut. I was raised in Connecticut. So that was the ultimate connection right there. Oh, Connecticut? Oh, you're my guy. And he's been my guy ever since.
I like that. I like that a lot. So what made you want to like get into like making wrestling content, kind of like putting that stuff out there?
Well, what got me on TikTok first was almost like everyone, quarantine 2020. We had nothing to do. I was never going to get on TikTok. I knew what TikTok was. That's a kids app. I see the kids at the school I was teaching use. I'm like, but with quarantine, you're bored. I can only play so many games. So I download TikTok. I actually started with anime because that's what I was like really watching at that time. Because 2020 Performance Center, I couldn't watch it. It wasn't for me. No fans. I just couldn't do it. So I was watching my anime. But then one day I saw WWE 2K20 for, I think it was $10. I said, let me buy that. I've been playing all these games. I play it. The ugliest glitch happened. All I remember is I went down, John Cena hit the mat. I went down for a pin, but his leg was up and I was just standing there. So I said, you know what? Let me pull out my phone, recorded it, voiced over, 100K views the next day. I said, wait a second. People actually watch wrestling? I used to get called a nerd for watching it. Like I thought all the fans in attendance were robots and fake. Like, so I'm like, all right, I put a few more out. And, you know, I stopped it a little bit, but it was Narcolepsy Boy. I started watching him and I'm like, why can't I do that? I have the same passion. And I'll remember till this day, my first legit anything WWE video was when I saw the results of Randy Orton and The Fiend after Randy Orton burned him. Well, you know, flamed him.
Yeah.
And it just brought an attitude era feel to me, that whole feud. And I was like, okay, maybe it's time to come back. And the rest is history. I started recording on the screen, just giving my opinions because some people liked my opinion on the first video. I was like, wow, people actually, I didn't think the internet was like this because I was never the social media type. I had Facebook, I had like Snapchat, but I never, because, you know, back then I was a little, you know, words hurt. I'll admit it, words hurt on the internet, but now it's different. I could just throw it to the side and it's just, till this day, I make videos and everything. I still can't believe I did it because I used to have stage fright. And some people think, oh, you're just talking on your phone, but you still have to post it. So many, some videos get 500 views, some get 1 million, and so many people watch it. That's still, you still got to get over your stage fright because you don't know who's watching your videos. And ever since, once I saw Narco do it, I said I could do that too. Put my own flair to it, and then the rest is history.
It's one of those things where like I look at it too, and I was like, man, like it really helped me get comfortable with like cutting promos, right? Because like what I was doing was like I would put out like my opinion, or I would talk about the show before, right? That was something that the 3 Count Podcast used to do, like on our TikTok page, is like I would put out like results and stuff and talk about like what happened. And then like I got more and more comfortable in front of a camera, and I was like, yo, I can actually just start cutting promos like easy. And it just became like one hitter quitters. Like after that, like I was just putting out promo after promo after promo, and I was just practicing and getting better at like being in front of a camera and not even have anybody around, because like, let's be real, like right now there's not an entire camera crew here. It's just me in a room on a couch that looks like it belongs in a casting couch. And like I legitimately loved like getting out there and like talking to people and just having this cool conversations with people. So like when quarantine happened for us, right, like I had just started my pro wrestling career in January of 2020, so I was all excited. Yeah, and then March came, and then we all got shut down. So then we created this show because I was like, yo, let's have conversations with people and try to figure out like what they're doing during quarantine to help get themselves better. And then we started bringing on people. So like everybody got their stuff, but then like the only thing that I really can't do is make clips, and that's because it's boring.
You have to really enjoy editing and all that. Yeah. I will say that because I can do it. It's such a hassle. Yeah. You really have to love editing and everything like that.
You have to like, and when you're putting promos together, like you have to think of like the idea. You like concept this idea, and then you like put it together, and then you put it out there, and you really kind of like, man, people gonna like it or not. It's not really, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. The one thing I love about like is when people like hear like Red Dog Side of the Day. And like I get those messages back. They're like, I wait till 10 a.m. to hear Red Dog Side of the Day on a Wednesday morning, which I do it on Wednesday because, you know, it's hump day. We need to get something to get this thing started. Yeah. But it's so much fun to do. And like I just find myself just like sitting in front of the camera, think about an idea, or I'll go on TikTok and I'll scroll through and I'll find somebody who said something dumb, and I'm like, we're gonna take that one for today.
TikTok. And I don't know if you've seen the videos, but it also started. I found this sound. It was just such a funny sound. It would show somebody like a female, and then the person who's making the video would be like, "God damn!" And then the next clip will be the spouse, and I'm like, and it's funny because I think it was the Undertaker's 25th anniversary or something like that, sometime around November. It was for Survivor Series, and I said, "Why don't I just do the Undertaker and Michelle McCool?" And those videos actually went to the point where people were like, "Oh, you should do this person. You should do this." I didn't even know those two were together, but okay, I'll do them. Like Becky, they knew who Kevin Owens' wife was. I was like, I didn't even know Kevin Owens had a wife. I knew he had a son, and it was just it really lifted off. Like, and I'm glad that people didn't take it as, oh, he's just, you know, sexualizing women. It's no, like, you know, you find someone attractive, but what if that spouse is right there? You gonna get beat up. Especially with
or like, you know, maybe on the other hand, you're like looking at like Rhea Ripley and you're like, God damn, and then Buddy Matthews comes around the corner and you're like, oh damn.
And that was one of them. They said, oh, do Rhea Ripley. I said, and Buddy Matthews, when did this happen?
Yeah.
And I'm learning relationships. I'm like, huh? And then people started getting funnier with it. They're like, oh, you should do like Macho Man and Queen Elizabeth. Or there was one time I did Mae Young and Mark Henry. And people couldn't believe it. I said I just want to make people laugh. Like, if you know the generation of wrestling, you'll get it instantly. And I connected with so many people with just a 9-second video, and I didn't even say anything.
You know, it's funny because you said something, you just said like the magic word that I like to think of, like, especially when it comes to like content creating or even just like being in the ring or just like in promos, but it's really about connecting with people and just being genuine with them. Because the one thing that comes to be a problem is that a lot of wrestlers try to get over and they like force it, but they don't really understand like the act of just being genuine. Just when you're in character or you're just like doing videos or something, it's about establishing like a connection with people and making them want to watch your stuff. And it's so crazy to see some people do some stuff and it's like so cringe and you're like, why are you trying so hard? Like, it's not that tough. Like,
it's really good.
And I'm not trying to sound like arrogant about it, like I got it all figured out, right? But like in like one of my favorite things to do, right, is like in the wrestling world, like I'm getting choked like on a second rope and I'm like just selling as much as possible. But I look for like a kid that's like visually looking at me and I just reach out to the kid and I'm just like, tag me in. He's choking me. And I kid you not, man. It's so much fun because like kids are like, oh, they freak out and they start laughing. And then you start seeing everybody else around them start to care too. And that's like when you start establishing those things. And like on TikTok, like obviously you can't reach out to fans, but you can be yourself, right? Like you are like a fun-loving dude. You have like a great time with things. And like you were showing off like the Undertaker, like you said, Undertaker, Michelle McCool. And fans connected to you because they understood like you're doing this in fun, but this is who you are. You just really just kind of easygoing guy.
Yeah. And that's what it was. Because growing up, like I said, at this point, I thought all the fans were fake because in my town, I was the only guy who watched wrestling. I used to get bullied for it. It would be 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock because it used to be later. And we would all be playing basketball. And I'm like, oh, 8:50, I got to go. Oh, Axel got to go watch his wrestling. Oh, he got to go watch fake punching and all. And so when I found TikTok and started getting good comments, I'm like, wow, I was really raised in the wrong town. There's other people just like me who love wrestling. And the thing is, I've had a character one time, but that was when Narcolepsy Boy was trying to help me get on my feet, and we had like a little promo battle back and forth. But other than that, I've always been myself. And people know me.
So one thing.
No, go ahead.
No, my fault.
No,
I was thinking, because like it's like that. It seems like everywhere. It's like there's a lot of closet wrestling fans because then they'll like go out and make fun of them, but then like they'll come to you later and they're gonna be like, "Hey man, like, you see what happened on Raw last night?" Because they know you're the wrestling guy. Like that was me in high school too. Like I was that guy. Like kids used to make fun of me. Everybody used to think it was cool when like DX and NWO and the Wolfpack came. But once all of that kind of faded off, right? I was still that wrestling guy. And like kids used to make fun of me. They'd be like, man, I used to watch that when I was a kid. It's like, bro, you are a freshman in high school. Like we were a kid last year.
It's like they try to be so cool. And I get what you're saying because I would be, oh, you know who John Cena is, right? Like, yeah, sure. Yeah, I know who Cena is. But how do you know if you don't watch it? Like, make it make sense.
Yeah. Like, it's weird, too, because, like, I remember, I'm probably the only one out of my high school class, right, that, like, pursued this avenue because I was like, yo, like, this is something I'm genuinely, like, I love, and I love doing. I love being a wrestling, and I love wrestling in general. So I just like talking about it. And I think, like, so many people were looking back at me. They're like, this doesn't matter. He's not going to do anything with it anyway. He's just a giant nerd. I'm like, okay, well, here I am 30 something years later, still doing this thing, still chasing after a dream. Like, I don't know. It's weird to me that like so many people were like always like, I talk about it now, like, you know, they would downplay. They would act like, you know, you're not really like, you're not going to do it. So you might as well just like stop talking about it. So when I moved from my hometown in Nebraska and kind of traveled a little bit and then moved to Baltimore, like I was like, yo, all right, well, there's no better time to try this. I've already done everything else I need to.
Exactly.
It's crazy. And then it's fun because like you kind of have like this appreciation because you use characters, you use other people to like help build you, right? So like one of my favorite people to like look at and study their work is like Eddie Guerrero and look at Chris Jericho, and I can look at someone like Roddy Piper, right? And like I pick out their work and stuff and things that I liked about them and then implement them into my character. And then like there's this whole crazy thing that happens, and then I just start shit talking and to get my ass kicked while I'm shit talking.
That's how it works.
It's how it has to work. But one thing I like though, it seems like you're pretty consistent with like your posting, especially like on TikTok itself, right?
Yeah.
So what's one of the ways that you're like, have you figured out like the algorithms for like TikTok to help get yourself up?
I thought I had it once. Back when I was making the goddamn videos, I would always post them at 9 on the dot. Because for some reason, they would always hit at that time. But any other video I would put, it wouldn't. So the algorithm, let me tell you, son, ain't nobody ever going to figure out the algorithm. It's just so inconsistent. But for me, I've noticed if I make a video on someone that I really like, if it's a Jeff Hardy video or a Bianca Belair video, I've noticed that TikTok will be like, oh, okay, you're the real guy, you're the fan, you get all the views. Or even with the bloodline stuff, like you'll see other people, just put in the videos because they just want to talk about it. But I feel like TikTok knows like I'm the biggest like Roman hater, but I'm so invested into the bloodline story at the same time that those videos hit too. It's just so random. It's just like TikTok knows what you really like. TikTok could tell if you're just doing something for views. They could tell. And I don't know. It's just that algorithm is insane.
It's funny because I did one video and I just reacted to a dude talking about like the 10-year anniversary of like, it was like the 10-year anniversary of the Avengers movie.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, and all I did was just like, what? And like that video blew up. And since then, like, bro, like I just have got nothing going on.
It's so random. It's so random. That's why now when I post, I just post what I want to talk about, not, oh, this is coming here, this and that. And because it's not worth it.
It really isn't. So let me ask you, man, like who are some of your favorite wrestlers to like cover and talk about like why you're doing, like whether you're on TikTok or on your YouTube channel, like what are some of your favorite like moments?
Well, the number one person I will always talk about, always will defend no matter what, and everybody knows this, is Jeffrey Nero Hardy. Favorite of all time. I'll always hold him to what he's done. I'm not that type of fan where it's like, oh, but I always hold him to what he does. That thing in Impact, terrible. But people always put it on him as if they didn't see him beforehand and still let him walk out the curtain. So, with stuff like that, Bianca Belair, just like today, Bianca, I don't understand why people don't like her. I just don't get it. But from the first time I saw her, the connection, I have this weird connection with wrestlers, like especially when it comes to Austin Theory. I don't know if you ever seen my Theory videos, but I got introduced to Theory by Instagram. You know how you'll post some things and then they'll give you suggestions. I found Austin Theory back in 2016. No WWE. He was in Evolve. And for some reason, I looked at him and I'm like, this dude gonna be something. I could see him being Cena. And look at where we at today. And I still got the proof, because if I try to message him, he'll say following since 2016. But Triple H, who else? Triple H. I'll defend Lita because we all know how they feel about Lita. Leave the private life stuff out. Lita is one of the greatest of all time. And then moments, if you want to talk about real passion, it's mainly Bianca, Jeff, and Theory. Because if you go look at my videos and you see my reactions, it's genuine. Like sometimes, I'm like, oh yay, and I was doing that too. I will not lie. I tried to catch every return and all that, but I don't really. I'm not invested. But if you catch any of my videos with those three, you'll see I might as well know them personally because I defend them like they do. I mean, Bianca reposted me one time on Instagram, so I guess we cousins at this point. Theory saw my video one time. I guess we cousins. Rebby Hardy actually saw my video on Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy going to when Jeff went to AEW. So we family, I guess. and one more, not as much, but on this specific subject, John Cena is my GOAT, and I'll go to bat with that. no bias or nothing. I will give cold hard facts because there's nobody that I see today that will ever do some of the things that he's done in and outside of the ring.
No, I definitely outside the ring is definitely like hard to argue because I mean I do still doing stuff with Make a Wish and it's like one of the coolest things like to find out like he's still like and he's always going to be that guy because he's always going to be active in everything that he does. So it's just cool to see him do his thing. It's funny because you mentioned Bianca and I know like we were talking before we went on the air like there's TikTok drama because someone believes that you know Bianca should go heel and I remember being introduced to Bianca as a heel and like. Just getting attached to her. And so like to me now, like her being face or her going heel, like it doesn't change for me. I'm still gonna be a fan. When they did that to Shotzi Blackheart, I've been a Shotzi fan before she was in NXT, before WWE, before all that stuff. Like I was a fan. And so when I saw her turn heel, I was like, still riding, ain't changing. Like I'm still hanging off of this. I was like, because that's all that matters. But it's funny because like I look at Bianca and I'm like, I love your heel work, I love your face work. I was like, you're over with me. I don't really care what you do. Like we're just gonna enjoy this ride. It's crazy. It's crazy to see, and I feel like that with like a lot of different wrestlers. I know on the indie scene, we got the homies. What's up to Robin and Charlotte? The new women's NWA tag team champions. But more importantly to them. Whenever they're heels, like I'm on board with them. Whenever they're faces, I'm on board with them. I don't really care. I just enjoy the ride and watching them do their thing. So there's those wrestlers that you get those sudden attachments to, and you're like, I don't care what it is you do, whether you're heel or your face, I'm still gonna cheer you on.
Oh, and I just got to give a shout out. I can't believe I forgot, but I just feel like everybody knows this. Another group of people when it comes to Hit Row. I will take no talk, no negativity. Even before what they did, well, what Top Dollar did, I communicate. Here's the thing. My brother introduced me to, well, he didn't introduce me. He got me back into NXT. When I started, the first group I saw, Hit Row. I knew about Swerve from my brother. He's like, oh, yeah, Swerve's cool. You know, they were trying to do something. Now they got him in this group. I got attached. I feel like Hit Row and NXT was amazing. Them getting called up to the main roster the first time was not necessary, but stuff happens. Now, I make a video, Top Dollar goes through the barricade thing, the plexiglass. I make a video. He duets it. And then he follows me. I'm like, okay, this is my chance, but I don't want to look like that. Oh my God, I got followed by somebody. Hey, hello, how are you? I kept it normal as if he was just a normal person. And that got to him inviting me when, after him being released and everything, he started working the indie scenes and he tried to do this TikTok. Well, he actually did make it. The TikTok Battle Royale thing had creators. I was invited, got his personal number and everything. And, even with that, people were like, oh my God, you got his personal number? Do you guys talk all the time? No. Because he's a regular dude. Like, I don't see, like, yes, he's on TV. He's Top Dollar. He's this. He's wrestled here. He's just a regular guy at the end of the day. Like, so that's how I'm going to treat him, like normal. So we would talk on, if I'm watching SmackDown, I'll be like, yo, I seen what you guys did. That's cool and everything. We would just chat. But I went to SmackDown recently with my brother and they were there. I took a picture of them. I was like, yo, bro, the new look. I love it. You guys look, the new attire looks good. Right after his match, I kid you not, had to be like 2-3 minutes. Probably was in Gorilla. I get a text back from him. Like right after his match. And I'm just like, there's no way. Like he really okay, I'll just, cool, whatever. Then he asked me, what are we doing after the show? And I'm like, what are we doing after the show? I didn't even think of meeting up or nothing. I'm just like, oh, he's probably, just wondering. Oh, well, me and the rest of the guys, we're going to go hit the pizza bar, this and that. Would you like to come up? Huh? And I got to do, for my brother and my friend Phil, I got to get them to meet Hit Row with nothing. Top Dollar literally he wanted no money. He wanted no exposure, no nothing. Just based off of our connection. He was like, yeah, we're at this pizza spot. Come. I got to meet Top Dollar in person. That dude is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's big on TV. But when I saw him, I'm like, oh, what's up, bro? Seeing B-Fab in person, one of the most beautiful, oh my goodness. And then seeing Ashanti just chilling in the corner, just one of the chillest dudes ever. Like, they didn't just wrestle in the ring or nothing. And for him to do that for me, that's why that connection will always be there. I will always defend Hit Row because he didn't have to do that. I'm just a guy who makes content.
It was funny because like when I saw, so last year when Game Changer Wrestling had For the Culture, right? Mm-hmm. I saw O'Shea Edwards and Shane Taylor take on Ashanti and Top Dollar. And when I saw Ashanti was roughly about the same size as O'Shea, I was like, oh, yeah. AJ is way bigger because like I know O'Shea, so and I'm a little guy compared to O'Shea, and like so seeing O'Shea and and then seeing Top, I was like, oh yeah, we done fucked up.
like I know he's gonna be tall, like you can tell, but in person, I was like, what's up, bro? I tried to keep eye contact normal, but I gave him that. We hugged and my face was in his chest. I'm like, well.
Yeah, it happens.
That experience. But yeah, that experience, that's why people be like, how do you like them? They're so distant because they did something that they didn't have to do. And that's the other thing. Top Dollar could have just came outside. He did. It's the fact that B-Fab and Adonis were okay with it. It's like, oh yeah, like, oh, that dude. Oh yeah, go ahead, yeah. So it doesn't matter. I will ride for them till the end of time because.
And that goes back to what we're talking about, right? Is like it's just like content creating, and just like the pro scene. Like it's about having those genuine connections with people, right? Because once you have those genuine connections, like you have lifelong fans for lifelong. Like I said,
that's another thing. He's a fan of me. Like it's supposed to be the other way around. Like he watches my videos. Like it's crazy. Sometimes he even watches my Instagrams that I don't even tag him in. Like that lets me know, like, okay, fine. Recording in front of the camera is actually doing something for you. It's working.
Yeah, that's when you got to keep going. You got to keep doing your thing. And I think that's the other part too about like what it is like you're gonna get in whatever you're putting out right into this world, whether you're content creating or you're actually going to the pro wrestling world or you're trying to be the best football player in whatever just depending. But you gotta kind of invest and just understand like. The goal is where the goal is and just like drive to get to that point. Like I think last year for me, it was like getting 100 interviews in a year, right?
Oh, damn.
It was like the goal for the podcast. And we hit that goal. I was exhausted to the point that this year I was like, I don't know about trying to do 100, but it was definitely so cool to be able to like hit and like now other people who I'm friends with or I have connections with, right? I go and I ask about certain wrestlers and get them on the podcast. Because the one thing I definitely love about this podcast is I get to learn experiences based on other people's like journeys, right? And kind of the pitfalls and like the do's and don'ts. And so that's what makes it so much fun. And so like I get to go out and reach out and platform other people and talk to them about their stories and understand where they're coming from. And then I can apply it to my journey and know like where to go in and out. So it's kind of fun to be able to like, make those things happen. But I understand like, if I'm going to get to 1,000 episodes in like 8 years, it's gonna take a lot of like doing things like this. And like we're recording this late night. I ain't going from with you guys. Like you guys know we record these like super late at night, but we record them, we post them for you guys to enjoy because we genuinely want to learn ourselves about what's going on. And I say ourselves as in myself and Chaz, and then we also want to learn how to like be better at posting because we suck at that job.
It's not easy. People swear it's so easy. It's not. You got to be good, man.
Oh, just wait till you guys will see it eventually. But I'll send you my my latest promo that I just did for somebody. It's freaking hilarious, but it took so much time and energy to do, and I was like, oh, but I'm so proud of it because it's like I think it's one of my best promos like I've done. But I've also like
promos are difficult. Promos are difficult. Like people. That's why when I judge a wrestler, promos is either 1 or 2 for me because to talk in front of people while you're on TV, I give them so much credit. That's why when people stutter a little bit, yeah, I'll laugh, but it's like I could do any better. Like recently, Damian Priest, he was talking to Edge, and it was about Elimination Chamber. He was like, I'm gonna qualify for the Money in the Bank, and then he was like, oh, damn, Finn, I really hate this dude. Like Edge, I hate you so much that you got me. And like the people who can fix it, I give them so much credit because I remember Randy and Sheamus's promo one time, and Randy forgot his words. And there's just that awkward silence where he walked up to Sheamus real quick, and you can tell it's like, what am I supposed to say? So when somebody can do promos and then just off the flip of a dime fix it, it's amazing. That's why promos for me are like, it's got to be right there because that's how you sell your character. You can sell it while in the wrestling ring, but people want to hear you talk. People want to see how you can really sell yourself in promos, man. I've tried 2 promos on TikTok, and that's it. That's that. I've only done 2. One against Epilepsy Boy and one against Phil. That's it.
Well, it's one of those things that I think we talked about on your podcast too. It's just like that. There's like different levels. Like to me, I got it understood from this podcast called I Hear Voices. And it's got Chrissy Romano Carlson. Is that right? Chrissy Carlson Romano from Kim Possible and Will Friedle, right? So I was listening to their podcast, and they actually had the dude who's actually currently voicing Bugs Bunny, and I forget his name. I'm sorry. I know I probably should look it up so that way I can quote it better. But anyway, he was talking about how all the characters that he does live in the house, but they all live in different floors of the house. And so, Tweety Bird clearly lives in the attic, while Bugs is kind of like in the second floor. And then so it was cool to hear. And I got to think about, I was like, yo, like if you meet me outside, it's the same energy.
Yeah.
But the voice is probably not going to be like all there. But if you meet podcasting Red Dog, like he's like right here, he's like, hey, what's going on? And then if you meet Red Dog, right, like in the ring or something, or even like as a fan, it's always like, hi, how's it going? Like super high pitch, super high energy. And it's like, I think about those things too all the time where I'm like trying to do like promos and stuff. So when I want to cut like a serious one, like I have to remember like to dial it down and turn it up and pitch my voice here and turn this over here. So it's like a lot of work to build a character. It's a lot of work.
And that's another thing. You got character is to find a character. I've heard from some people it's hard because you always got that. Oh, this person's done it before. Oh, you're trying to be this person, this and that. So you got to battle that first, and then like I think my brother just found his character. He's just going to be the young prodigy, and I'm like, I mean, that's been done before, but make it you. How are you going to make it yours? Like, how are you going to, like John Cena's been that before, the young, but what are you going to do? And I'll give it to him. He said he's going to make it his own. And I said, I can't wait to see, bro, because you can be something that someone has been before, but make it your own. That's the thing.
Oh yeah. There's been all sorts of, how many Nature Boys have there been? Like tons of people with the Nature Boy, tons of people who are like, the ones, because I think what it is, it's funny to me is that, and I've had it said on this show before, right? Not from me, but from other people. Like there's 6 characters that you're always gonna find like in a wrestling locker room, right? There's gonna be like there's gonna be the mercenary type, right? There's gonna be the one that's like the best wrestler, right? There's gonna be like the clown or
How many
like
best wrestlers have we had?
Right.
The greatest, the best of the best.
the showstopper, right? He's the guy that's like, hey, I'm gonna be that guy. You're gonna find like the education guy, right? The guy that's like, I'm the professor, I'm the super genius, or just something to that effect. And like the last one is like the clean ass baby face, like the dude that's always like, yeah, cheer me, I'm that guy. And it's like I think about it all the time, and I'm like, okay, so I clearly know that my character is like one of these 6, right? Like he's a mercenary, but how can I make him different from like everybody else?
Exactly.
And chilling in the back, I was listening to some people talk, and they're like, yeah, I'm a mercenary, and this is what I'm going to talk like the whole time. And I was like, bet, taking it the other way. We definitely bring out the dark side of this comedy because that's what's going to make this work. And like, yeah, I've just been able to run with it ever since. And so I've
just shooting off of each other. Like you could have 2 wrestlers that almost have the same gimmick, and you could just shoot ideas, and then you wouldn't even notice.
Right.
Or you guys could just become a great tag team. I mean, Street Profits, for example.
Right. Well, it's funny because like I have a friend of mine that's up here. His name's I should say down here because you're up in Mass.
Yeah.
But anyway, down here, his name's TJ Sykes, and you guys have seen his episodes before. But we recently started like teaming together, and his like character is like dead serious, like he's like very manipulative, and just he's a dick. Sorry, TJ, you're a dick. But in the promo, but if you see us like in the ring, like clearly my guy's like a lot of comedy, but he's cool, kind of calm, and always just kind of like quirky about things, and he's very like dead serious. And so the idea is like we were hoping that like we could get our characters to kind of mesh a little bit, so that my character takes on like more serious side, his character kind of takes a more comedy side, but it's kind of like that weird buddy cop film. And I was like, oh, this is so great, and I love this tag team. And I was like, we need to come up with more stuff to do. We've like done vignettes for it, we've done all sorts, we're all in with it. And then, you know, for some reason they're like, hey, we're gonna split you guys up. We're like, no, we want this team.
Could have been the next Team Hell No or Kane and X-Pac, man. Yeah. Those things, I actually love those. I love the tag teams with that one serious person and just the other guy was just like, yeah, let's do it. And it's just, first, you would think it wouldn't work, but it always does, in my opinion. I think, you know, most of the time, because it just bounces off because you get the seriousness and then the funny, and it's, dang.
Well, I mean, think about it. New Jack and Shark Boy. Like, oh my God, like that's a great team. Like,
for some reason, it's just the perfect mix. And I will always go back to Team Hell No for that, because Daniel Bryan was the comedy, Kane was the serious. And then they switched it up to where Daniel Bryan was the serious and Kane was the one being funny. I am the tag team champions. Like, you don't think Kane was going to ever say something like that?
No, but then who was that? Didn't he at one time quote like Backstreet Boys?
Oh
like
my goodness! Yes. Not only that, but an old school one, because it's happened before. You could have the clean baby faces, Hulk Hogan and The Rock, and then have the tag team partner of Kane. Mass Kane at that, like old school Mass Kane. Wait. You're gonna talk? You're gonna say something? Oh my Edge! Oh my God! Edge and Kane, the Canaanites. Oh my goodness! But I love that mix. I love a serious and just a goofy person. It's just Enzo and Cass. I know people have their issues with them, but they work perfectly. Bubba and Devon. You know, Bubba was always the funny / serious, and Devon was, you know, more of the serious one. It just worked. And then you have your two comedy, Edge and Christian. I mean, come on, but it just works so much.
Yeah, I think
comedy and seriousness. I don't know what it is.
It's always crazy because like comedy stuff, like always, and I don't want to say always, right? Because it's a hit or miss. Like obviously, comedy is subjective, right? And we'll put it out there.
Yeah.
But a lot of comedy gimmicks, like, will get over the crowd, and it's when that person flips and can make that heel transition like effortlessly and get the crowd to hate them. It like gets even better, because then when they flip back to being a face, then like they have like double the fans that they had before, you know, because they're able to control a crowd. And I think about those things where I'm like, when I work too, I'm like, how do I pull from different people, right? Like, I love watching Enzo's mic work is second to none. Like, he is the man when it comes to like shooting off the hip, right? But then like I get to watch people like Kenny Omega like do their thing, right, and talk, and they are amazing. He is amazing on the mic. Or I get to listen to other people. Sean Donovan, who he's underrated as far as a promo person goes. Like, he's really good too. And I can listen to people like, you know, you can listen to Trent, right, of the Best Friends, or you can look at people like Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, however you want to look at them. Batista, right? Like, he was able to get the fans over as a face. Obviously, The Rock would be the one that you could also talk about next, right? Because in a minute, he get a whole entire crew to hate him, but he'll say like one thing and the crowd is back over on his side. So it's just
and I don't know if you ever took the time to watch Young Rock. He really puts it into perspective how people really think like, oh, he was the son of Rocky Johnson. It was not that simple for that man. Showing that clip from his first like dark match, and everybody's just looking at him like, who the hell is this guy? Yeah. And if he didn't sell correctly, he would have never got, like, people swear just because he was the second generation or third generation, it was just so simple for him. And no, that's not how it was. He got lucky. That's luck to be a part of a family like that. The rest is on you. You're just lucky enough to be part of that family. use that ticket, yes, but you're not going to get far. You have to, and like, yeah, I look at that and I'm like, I don't get. I really thought it was just simple for certain people, you know. Like, nope. Thanks to The Rock for that one, because he almost didn't make it. He was almost fired.
Yeah, he was almost fired. It was crazy. A lot of people don't realize that, like, him and Cena, like, they were almost canned after like their first.
Oh yeah, Cena. If it wasn't for Stephanie McMahon, Cena wouldn't even exist.
Right.
If it wasn't for Vince, like, I don't know if it was Vince like feeling bad that, you know, him and The Rock's father had their issues, or if it was just Vince like, nah, this is gonna work. I know it, but Vince gave him so many chances, and he's lucky for that too, because there was times he would like go over minutes on live television with his promos, and we all know that's serious. You can't. Timing is everything. That's what Gorilla's for, and getting yelled at, doing things he's not supposed. The people's elbow wasn't even talked about. He did it randomly to Ken Shamrock in the ring, like, and it worked. Like, he took so many things, but he also took backlash for it. And people really, like, just take some time, guys. Just take some time to watch Young Rock. It wasn't that simple for that man. It wasn't.
Facts. So listen, man, we're gonna hop over to my favorite segment of the 3 Count Podcast, and it is the 3 Count Podcast 10 Count Questions. And this is how it's gonna work. I'm gonna fire off 10 questions at you rapid fast, and whatever your answer is, that's your answer.
All right, let's go.
So we're gonna put on the imaginary timer for added pressure. Bing! And in the words of Mike Goldberg, here we go. SmackDown or Raw?
SmackDown.
Favorite movie?
All time, gotta be Coach Carter.
Nice. Sonic or Mario?
What was that?
Sonic or Mario?
Mario.
Favorite cartoon?
Ooh, of all time? Dang, you got me. I'm gonna have to go with, well, you said cartoon, so I won't do anime. I'm gonna have to go with Pokemon.
Okay, I like that. Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Favorite anime?
Naruto. Got the poster right here. Tattoo right here too. You see my
love it.
Yeah, got the Demon Fox and everything.
PlayStation or Xbox?
The big bet. I'm PlayStation.
Favorite podcast?
Ooh. I mean, I'm cocky. I'm gonna say the Wrestling Chop Shop. I love what I put together. But anybody but me, I would have to say Ryan Satin's podcast.
Okay, I like that too.
You can really talk. You can really talk.
Nominate one person that you want to see on this podcast.
Narcolepsy Boy.
He's been on.
He's been on?
Yeah, we've had him on.
All right. Who do I think? You know what? I'm gonna have to go with, wow, this is wow. Narco's always my first one. This is hard. I'd have to say for deep conversations and everything. I don't know if you've seen this stuff. Infamous Opinionist. Has he been on here?
He has not. He has not been on here.
He's actually a good talk, and his defense on Dolph Ziggler, you would love it. I'm telling you. That man is passionate when it comes to Dolph Ziggler.
I get it. I get it. Watching Dolph Ziggler's work, I 100% get it. I know exactly what I've watched him defend Dolph Ziggler, but it's not like Dolph really needs defending because Dolph's work speaks for itself. So I definitely, I can understand.
There are some people who still, you know, and he's that guy. And because I love my women content creators. For the women's side, since we're talking about Dolph Ziggler, hey, it's Renee. She is a good talk as well, and she actually personally knows Dolph Ziggler. So that's way different of defense. She actually knows this man.
And then last but not least, my favorite question to ask every single person who comes on this show: favorite curse word?
Bitch.
Hey, I love it.
No disrespect to women or nothing. It's just that being around women, they use it more than we do. Let's be honest. They really do. So I don't want nobody to be like, oh, he doesn't have respect for women. Being around women, you guys use it a lot more than we do. Trust me.
But those are all my heavy hitting questions. And so the last thing I need from you is to let our viewers and our listeners know where they can find you.
You guys can find me at Axel Guzman 1017 on TikTok. You can find me on the Wrestling Chop Shop, Meet Us in the Ring podcast, and Players Choice Wrestling, all on YouTube. 3 podcasts. I'll be tired. I don't know how I do it. And you guys can also find me on Twitter on the same handle, Axel Guzman 1017, and on Instagram. Just hit 1,000 followers. So, get me up.
Congrats on that. But hey, so you guys know what that means. Like everybody's favorite part of a wrestling match, we got to take it home. Because this is the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Into the Ring, and I'm your host, Clever Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you out that mountain called wrestling. But like every good show, for which I like to think I am, it's never about me. It's about who's into the ring. So who's into the ring? You see him right there, Axel Guzman himself. So you guys know what to do. Tune into the next episode and be there, or you're legitimately just following us on all of our social media platforms because they're right here below. You're either doing that, you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, you're following us on Spotify, you're leaving those 5-star frog slash reviews on Apple Podcasts, you're even buying our merch currently on ProWrestlingTees.com. In the future, it will be on ForYourWear.com. So you're doing all that stuff. You're telling your friends about us, and you're even commenting that you like this podcast or you don't like this podcast. We take both sides. It's okay. Criticize or love. Anyway, you're doing all that stuff, or you're really just kind of waiting for this episode to end. You're waiting for the outro, and then you're choosing another episode to listen to. Peace. What's going on, 3 Count Nation? I'm Clifford Red Dog Miller with the catchphrase. But what I really want to do right now, go to twitter.com, right? Go over there. Find us at the 3count_pod. Give us a follow. Give us a like. Give us a comment. We want to talk to you guys. Go to IG at the 3countpod. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Leave us a comment. We want to interact with you. Go to youtube.com. Give subscribe. Turn the bell on. Turn the notifications. Leave a comment. We want to talk to you. Go to anchor.fm/the 3Count Podcast, and in there, you can leave us a message, and we will talk to you. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that we want to talk to you. We want to have fun with you guys, and we love listening to what you guys have to say. Also, one thing I need you to do for me, the 3 Count Podcast also has merchandise. At ProWrestlingTees.com/the 3Count Pod. Please go buy our t-shirts. We love you guys, and we hope you love us too. So show us some support, please.